Thanks for checking out today's video on the John Owen Talks About Sports and Movies channel. I always appreciate the view, and also support is appreciated. So let's get into it. So as college football season nears and the coronavirus pandemic is still a insisting problem in America, the MAC conference, Ivy League, and Division III football have completely canceled, and the Power 5 conferences, SEC, Big 12, ACC, Big 10, Pac 12, all of the schools that are big names and drive the ratings and drive the money and everything like that have all talked about the possibility of canceling football for this season. So, with all that, there's a real chance that we will not get college football this year. And this video, what it would mean to lose college football this season. So, if we lost college football, obviously that would be a terrible catastrophe. College football is one of the most beloved sports in America. Probably my favorite time of the year, just because I feel like I love the NFL and the NBA and some of the MLB. Not a big baseball guy, but the big games are nice to watch. But college football to me is just so pure because, it's still considered amateurism, and it's so electric, and there's so many good games to watch, and every Sunday the college atmosphere is insane. And obviously I understand that, there has to be modifications to our normal college football format. Obviously we can't, have 100,000 people in the big house every Saturday. But losing college football completely would really be detrimental to a lot of people. All of those college towns that really depend on college football and are dependent on the university doing great things, they're going to crash and burn. The universities, college football makes so much money. College football, along with college basketball, basically funds the rest of the athletic program just because there's so much money involved. So, without college football, a lot of other programs are going to falter. A lot of other sports teams are not going to be able to do their thing either. So just from a money standpoint, there's so much at stake with college football. And then as far as the product on the field, top guys like Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields, Jamar Chase from LSU, those guys are going to be fine from a draft standpoint. Like, Trevor Lawrence could not step on the field this year, even though he has made it very clear that he wants to. And he's going to get $1 million paycheck whenever the NFL draft rolls around. Justin Fields is in the same boat. A few other guys, the top prospects that we know and love. But guys that maybe are on the fringe or are going to have breakout years. Just imagine if Joe Burrow hadn't been able to play last year. He wouldn't have been a first-round pick. He wouldn't have been the first overall pick. He would have been a third or fourth round pick at best. But he got to play and he had that massive breakout season. So I feel like there's a bunch of guys that could use a season like that as well. And without this, if those guys are seniors or whatever, I'm sure that they would grant them extra eligibility. But, you got to go through the grind again and everything like that. And so, it'd just be really nice if those guys got to play, even if there was no fans or, less games or whatever. And to me, going from 12 to 10 games is really not that big of a deal. I understand that those 2 extra games are a lot of money for teams, but at the same day, it's not like we're going from 10 to 5 or 12 to 5 or 12 to 7. We're still getting 10 games just because those Power 5 conferences are so big. And then, the college football playoff, to me, probably the best playoff system we have in sports. I love NFL playoffs and the NBA and MLB and everything like that. But to me, the college football playoff, it truly gets the best teams in there only just because there's only 4. We don't need to expand to 8 or 12 or 16 or whatever these other crazy people think. It's the 4 best teams in college football. It's supposed to be. It doesn't always happen. Going against each other, and that's always so fun to watch. I think it works better than the BCS system. It gives 1 through 4 a fair shot at winning. Look at Ohio State the first year they did. They were the 4 seed, and they ended up winning and everything like that. So not having that would obviously not be good. And then another big thing is rivalry games. If we don't play, there's no Iron Bowl, there's no uh, Civil War, even though they're changing the Oregon State game. There's no Egg Bowl, there's no Red River rivalry showdown between Oklahoma and Texas. There's no Bedlam. There's none of those big in conference rivalry games. There's no Ohio State Michigan game if we don't play. That's always one of the biggest draws of the year. I think Michigan's overrated, and I really don't watch them that much, but I always watch them play against Ohio State. That's just because that's probably arguably the biggest rivalry in college football outside of maybe Auburn and Alabama and stuff like that. So, those rivalry games are just so awesome and pure, and the energy is just outstanding. And I understand that the fans are going to be there, so the energy is going to be a little down. But those players are so revved up and everything like that. And Trevor Lawrence tweeted this last night. Trevor Lawrence has done an outstanding job using his platform as college football's biggest star to fight for what he believes in and everything. But he's been tweeting about, the risk of if we don't play. If they do play, they're in a world class facility. They're at more risk to get the virus if they don't play. If they have to go home, or if they're not if they're not on the football team in isolation and everything like that. So I believe that's another benefit, is that they're less likely to get the virus, the coaches and the players, just because they're in the world-class facilities. They can sanitize everything. They can do the advanced testing every day. So I believe that it's super key for them to not obviously not that nobody's going to get the virus, just because, there's so many college football programs. You times that by 80 people on the team, somebody is going to get the virus. But so far, the training camp numbers have been very positive and everything like that. So I believe that them playing football will actually decrease the chance of them getting the virus. And then you can see Trey Lance pictured here from North Dakota State University. Those smaller schools, and those guys at those smaller schools that are trying to improve their draft stock and get to the league are going to be out of that opportunity. Now, Trey Lance is kind of a crazy exception, just because he's already getting first round buzz. But at the same time, you gotta, there's not everybody's a Trey Lance at the Division II level, or at the smaller Division I level. Those guys need the season to put tape on the field, so then they have a chance of getting drafted. And without the college football season, then NFL teams are going to be less likely to draft D2 guys. More D1 guys are going to get drafted, and then those D2 guys are not going to be able to fulfill their dreams. So, it's really important for the Division II players to be able to get to play. And lastly, my last point I'm going to make on what it would mean to lose college football this season is the college games this year. Now, I understand that, there's probably going to be very limited capacity, but I will be a college student this year. I actually move in on Saturday. That's insane. I'll be attending Texas Tech University. And just not having that game day vibe every Saturday would just be so odd. And that's something I've really, really, really been looking forward to as a incoming college student. And that would just be really not good. And as far as Texas Tech specifically, I know we're not the best, but we always have a very exciting team. So the atmosphere and the stadium and the student section is always amazing. We throw the tortillas on the field, which we probably shouldn't, but we do because it's funny. And so, all that would be just really disappointing for me if I didn't get to go to the game, or even if I didn't go to the games because, it's no fans or whatever. Just not having that atmosphere every Saturday around campus and that buzz would just be really kind of sad. And I think that all these points boil down to, it would just be really disappointing and really saddening for a bunch of people if we didn't have college football this year. I believe they should play. Trevor Lawrence has made a lot of great points. If you want to see what I'm talking about more specifically, go look at his Twitter account. And so, yeah, that's basically all I've got to say. Thanks for checking out today's video. I hope you have a great day.